Hey guys, Yordleman, the Waifu Collector here, still the only fair human on Earth, and today we've got some more talk about Pokemon Legends ZA. And we already covered the graphics and that whole controversy, so now let's talk about some actual game aspects. And of course, the biggest one is the all-new battle system, because for the first time in the nearly 30 years of Pokemon, they've changed up the battling so that it's no longer turn-based. So to start, let's talk about how the new battling lands and if it's something they should continue to use going forward. Now, first off, I think the new battle system does well to not be maybe too action oriented, and I only say that because if you're a long-standing Pokemon fan, then you've probably grown accustomed to the turn-based battles, so maybe something too action-centric or demanding could prove to be overwhelming to the player base. But this new battle system, while it is obviously more kinetic, it isn't so much so that your reaction time is going to be tested or anything like that, So it's a pretty slow battle system still. And I don't know that that's truly bad or good, it just kinda is what it is. And if anything, it might lean toward being a good thing because, like I said, a faster playstyle might have proven to be a bit much for what a lot of Pokemon fans are looking for with the franchise. And to be fair, the Rogue Mega Battles do provide a bit of a boost in speed and demand. Now, I think this battle transition is actually really good, and it's a step in the right direction for Pokemon overall, but it is just a step, because this isn't absolutely perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Mainly, I think directing your Pokemon on where to go is pretty clunky. You can't just tell them to go here or go there. The way you direct them is by giving them no command and just moving around, so they naturally follow you when you move. But if you tell them to do an attack, they'll move into a suitable position to do that attack. And it doesn't always make a lot of sense. Obviously, to do melee-based attacks, your Pokemon has to get in close on the opponent, but for certain ranged attacks, your Pokemon will still move into an odd position rather than just doing it where they're standing. It makes it so that learning your moves takes some getting used to, because you'll start to figure out that no matter where you're standing, when you use certain attacks, your Pokemon will just run away from you. So that's a bit odd. Also, I think they probably should have went the basic attack route, where your Pokemon auto attack naturally and in between your more powerful attacks, which of course have cooldowns. Of course, then some things may have to be rethought, and there would even be the possibility for each Pokemon's basic attack to not be the same speed as the others, which could add another layer to the battle system. Also, maybe some are ranged and some aren't. All hypothetical if they were to have the auto basic attack system. To go with all of this, and even just the game as it is, you would again need a more reliable way to direct your Pokemon. In game, the left trigger is how you lock on and do attacks, but the left and right bumpers don't do anything. Maybe the left bumper could have been how you call your Pokemon toward you, and the right could have been how you tell them to stay put. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, I think this is a good first step in a new battle system, and I think this direction is worth pursuing. I'm sure it'll get better as they iterate on it, and I would even love to see it return in the more officially mainline Generation 10 games. But alright, let's talk about another somewhat hot button issue when it comes to Pokemon Legends ZA, the difficulty. There's been a lot of talk about if Pokemon is too easy now, and I'm gonna say that I don't think so. I just think a lot of us have been playing Pokemon for a really long time, and we have a good idea of what to do by now. Also, turn-based RPGs are just inherently not very hard if you don't rush through them. If you engage everything there is to engage, it's pretty much impossible to lose. And that's just true of turn-based RPGs oftentimes. So ZA no longer being turn-based makes it slightly more difficult, if anything. But I think there are a fair amount of tough battles, and the Megas are horrendously overpowered as always, so they do a bit to give you a fair challenge. So no, I don't think Pokemon is too easy. And the biggest point in all of this is, whether you like it or not, Pokemon is for kids. Now, that's not to say adults can't enjoy it. I myself am an adult who enjoys Pokemon after all, but the focus of Pokemon is always going to be keeping their grasp on their child fanbase. I mean, mean, you might think they'd want to focus on their adult player base because the adults are the ones with the money, but people are actually more likely to spend way more money on things for their kids. And getting in with every generation of kids keeps you alive in the cultural zeitgeist. And perhaps those kids grow up into the adults that still play Pokemon. Meanwhile, Game Freak continues to cater to their kids. It's just that while you don't want to lose your adult fan base either, it is way more imperative to hold on to your child fan base. So Pokemon continues to do that, and part of that is making sure kids can actually get through the game. In all honesty, I'm not too sure what the people who think the game is too easy want. Pokemon Dark Souls or something? I don't know. The game's difficulty is fine, in my opinion. Now, when it comes to things like how easy the shiny hunting has gotten, well, that is a bit more unnecessarily nerfed because it isn't part of the core gameplay at all. But I don't know, I guess hunting for shiny alphas is the new old odds shiny hunting? I don't know. I haven't done the math on that. But the shiny Pokemon stuff could also be remedied down the line with an even more rare variant to find, you know? Some kind of new palette that's more rare than the original shinies. That could be cool. Regardless, ultimately the difficulty is fine. Okay, now as is typical for an open world game like this, there are side quests, and I don't hate the side quests in ZA. I kinda appreciate that they get straight to the point for the most part, and they don't pretend there are other mechanics beyond battling. But by that same token, it pretty much is all just standard battles with longer explanations about why. And the side quests kind of feel like glorified tutorials to get you to consider other strategies. You know, a guy will say, all my Pokemon use trap moves to impede the battlefield. It's the best strategy. You'll never beat it. Then you battle him and you beat him, but it was all just so that you'll start to consider the benefits of trap moves. And there's one of these for just about every kind of strategy you can think of. So yeah, the side quests are kinda meh and very tutorial-y. Also, on the side of not very good is the map. The map is actually kinda bad. There's like no clear communication about where a lot of important things are, and you can't fast travel to them either. And I'll be clear, there is fast travel, there are places you can fast travel to, but there are other important places in the game that are not marked on the map and you cannot fast travel to. Even benches where you manually change the time of day aren't marked on the map. It's so weird. It's just not the most intuitive map, and if you're looking for anything other than a wild zone, you could be searching for a while. But whatever. Altogether, Legends ZA is a great experience and a great new addition in the right direction for Pokemon. It's got its flaws, of course, some of them the same old of cheap graphics and no voice acting, and then other flaws that are more unique to ZA. But what flaws the game has don't keep it from being an overall great game with even greater potential going forward. If I had to put a number on it, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. As a long-time Pokemon fan, I am very pleased with it, and it really made good on progressing beyond the groundwork laid for Legends Arceus. When Legends Arceus came out, it wasn't uncommon for people to say it felt prototypical, like it was simply laying the foundation for greater ideas, and I think ZA is a natural step in that progression that delivers, even if it feels like it's not the final step in the evolution of these mechanics. But yeah, I think that's just about it. Kinda just wanted to do some more talking about ZA. Feel free to agree or disagree down in the comments. Let me know what you think, and if you enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a like and consider subscribing for more good gaming talk. Thanks in advance, and even if you forget everything I said in this video, just remember that I am your old man, the waifu collector. I am just a normal guy. I like hentai, and I have never convinced anyone of anything ever. Goodbye.